Go get on the track.
Welcome to Convinced and Confident. My name is Sarah Gilmore, and my co-host is Tamara Bluedorn. And each week we bring to you an inspiring message or person that will help you on your journey to self-discovery.
Success usually comes to those who are usually too busy to be looking for it. Our topic today is do it. And I'm not sure who said or wrote that quote, but Jennifer, my friend, that fits you. How are you today?
I am doing excellent. How are you, my sis?
I am well. I'm so glad you could find the time in your busy schedule to fit us in because you're so busy out there and doing great things. So we are really excited to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
So our topic is do it. But what I want to start with is I want to get a little bit about who you are or, how your journey is, how you're going along on this journey. Were you a network engineer? I was trying to get that straight. Was that where you started?
Yes. So actually, I started off in engineering. I was a network engineer for about 7 years with a major company out in Research Triangle Park. And so being one of the only pretty much on my shift, it was always rotating shifts, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I was one of the only women, not only just women, but African-American women that were usually on or even in the room of the space of being a network engineer. So back then, there were not a lot of women. I know women have more gravitated towards that field now. But back when I was a network engineer, it was very, very, very few of us.
So how was that experience for you?
Well, I love the people that I work with, but I just really hated engineering, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And that's only because I found that when I graduated from NC State, I was pretty much the type of person that liked to be around other people, network with different people. And so back then, my mother really wanted me to get into engineering or something dealing with math, which I see the direction that she wanted me to go in. However, I found that really wasn't my passion. So that experience working around they were awesome engineers. And as far as the educational purpose, and it did open up many different doors. However, I found that a lot of the jobs started getting shipped overseas. And so they ended up putting me on weekend nights. And when I say weekend nights, going in as a young lady, I was in my 20s and being the fact of having to work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., that was really no life. So that's the reason why I said I kind of hated that particular shift. But I love the people, that I work with, and I'm actually still really good friends with them to this day.
Awesome. So do you think that experience helped transition you or head you into the arena of wanting to start your own business?
Oh, absolutely. Mostly the idea for starting my own business I got from my mother. So my mother was an educator, being a school teacher, but she always kept something on the side. I would always see either at night or on weekends that she would work what was her insurance business at the time. And then during the summertime, I would be with my godparents in Virginia, and I would ride with my godfather just around, different areas, and he would be dropping off products. And so I later learned that these products were from the company Amway. And so I started Amway, or going to Amway conventions and events and sitting among the positive people there, with Amway in that particular direct sales business since I was 19. So the bug for entrepreneurship was really placed from my mother, my godfather, just, being the fact, I think I was like 15 or 16 when I used to ride around with him dropping off different products. And he would talk to me about entrepreneurship. And so also just being in that environment for entrepreneurship through the Amway Corporation.
Yes, I was going to say that environment helped set the seed for you.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you do or your transition from network engineer, I believe, to real estate, or was it something else before then?
So my transition from being a network engineer basically came when I saw a lot of our jobs getting shipped overseas. And being that I was 100% responsible for my income, I knew I had to pretty much, as one of my mentors like to say, repair your roof while it's sunny outside. So I knew I would come in, I would see certain departments either eliminate a few people or eliminate the whole entire department because they were getting transferred overseas and bringing in these contractors, or they were outsourcing a lot of the same jobs that we were doing here in the United States. And so I took that as my opportunity to really follow what my passion was, because I always loved watching the different shows like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I always used to love just looking at the parade of homes that we had in our area every year for probably like 10, 20 years, ever since I was young. And so I was like, you know what? One day I'm going to sell those homes and just be a person that I can be of service to those. And so I decided while I was on the weekend nights, I decided to go to real estate school full time. So I went to real estate school full time during the week. And then I would study, constantly every day. And then I became Rookie of the Year my first year in. And so I was doing that for at least 6 months while I was still also working at the company as a network engineer. And so when the jobs actually got shipped overseas, I already had my everything pretty much in place and I didn't skip a beat. And I've been doing that as far as real estate close to 16 years.
Wow. See, I love that determination that you have going on there. Now, Jennifer, did you have a lot of anxiety or fear when you made this transition? And I ask because a lot of people have a hard time with making the leap or jump from a career to launching their own business.
Well, I would say most of my anxiety, I did have some anxiety. I did have, not going to lie and say I didn't have any fear, but I also know that I was kind of taught at an early age to kind of pretty much jump into certain situations. My dad, he was a veteran in the Army, 82nd Airborne, and they jump out of they're paratroopers, so they jump all the time. But also my dad kind of taught me how to be this independent woman. And in doing that, I think that really prepared me to not just rely on waiting for things to happen, but to kind of be a little bit more proactive. So I didn't know like if the job was going to end, but I think I was prepared. Like if it did, I was going to be more prepared on that. So I think being prepared, setting myself up for more success versus just waiting for something to happen or waiting until maybe if I did, come in one day, which we did. And there were those that were in my department and other departments that, especially these grown men that had families, you can kind of see the fear on their eyes as well. But because I had already started something that was really my passion and making money, that eliminated some of that fear and anxiety. And I think that all comes from preparation.
Absolutely. So being prepared for the moment when it occurs. You have an organization called Purses, Pumps, and Power. Can you tell us a little bit about what this organization does and why you started that?
Sure. Well, Purses, Pumps, and Power is my international women's organization, and it's where we help women gain financial leverage, not only over our lives, but in our lives. And it really kind of stemmed from the fact, like I mentioned before, my dad taught me to be, number one, have my own money, have my own car, and not that I didn't need a man or not that women don't need men, but I believe we have the brilliance that women carry pretty much in their womb from the beginning to be able to carry on businesses and to contribute to the world. So Purses, Pumps, and Power was really formed to have 7 purses of wealth. So like there's an investment purse. I believe everybody should be investing, even if it's in real estate or stocks or gold, foreign currency, and also a savings purse. And then we have Forex trading purse, because everyone, in my opinion, should be learning how to multiply and compound your money like the banks do. And stocks purse, because when you're investing in stocks, that's long-term legacy money that you're generating. Of course, real estate purse, I'm always going to be prone to people doing real estate, investing in real estate, owning your own home or apartment building or duplex. And then entrepreneur purse, because not everyone wants to work a particular job for someone, but there's an entrepreneur side that I believe many people have. And then there's a career purse for those that do not desire to have a business, but they want to excel in their career. So those 7 purses of wealth is what the purses stand for. And then the pumps pretty much represents the life work. And what I mean by life work, I mean, there are wellness pumps, there are spiritual pumps, there's like your mindset pumps. And when you do that and put that together, then women, and not only just women, but women become very more powerful in the sense, hence the name Purses, Pumps, and Power.
I love it. I love what it all stands for and the teaching and the information you're doing to empower others, especially women. I love it. Now, I had a chance to attend your I Declare Greatness conference. I had a blast. It was absolutely amazing. There's so much information I gained just from that conference. So you definitely have to tell us about the I Declare Greatness.
So I Declare Greatness came as a vision from one of my mentors, and it really stemmed from the book, which my book that was just released earlier, is called The Black Woman's Declaration of Independence. And in that book, when you think about declarations, there's 10 declarations, almost like there's 10 commandments in the Bible, but there's 10 declarations that I believe that every woman should truly look at. And all my life, I've really had to declare things. I had to declare my independence when it comes to not depending on a job or not depending on someone to necessarily take care of me. And also had to declare my independence when it came to business and entrepreneurship and staying in business for as long as I have. So declaring greatness, or the I Declare Greatness conference, really stemmed from the book, but also helping others declare what their greatness is. They are looking maybe to declare the greatness in their relationships or their job and their career, their business, or maybe even declaring greatness just in their life in general and in their finances. So we put together the I Declare Greatness conference to help others pretty much put whatever their blueprint or what they consider their greatness is. And that's the reason why we had that event. And I'm so thankful that you came, because I know I just love seeing you there.
It was amazing. It really was. I mean, it made me, just for me, put things even in better perspective and to make sure I'm thinking larger or big enough and to make sure I put all the steps in place. So no, I loved it. And your speakers were so powerful. You know, you could see the greatness in their life. So it was very impactful for me and my family. So thank you so much for that. Now, I know you've been to Africa. You know, you got work you're doing in Africa. You have to please bless us with that information. Tell us all about it.
Oh, well, I did have the pleasure of going to Africa for the first time this year. And it was one of those things that I've always dreamed about going. I never knew really what to expect, but having the opportunity to travel and be invited by one of the ambassadors to Burundi, Ambassador Rivers, he invited me to come over. We went to Kampala, Uganda, and I'm telling you, I cried probably every day that I was over there, but it was mostly because I didn't really feel like it was my first time going, but I really felt home. I felt so many different like emotions and just energy of the whole continent itself. But I also felt robbed because I know being here in the States, I know truly what it means now by them saying that, we're kind of spoiled, which we are. But I also got my eyes wide open now when I see that Africa is such a continent and our motherland that is rich with resources. And
Yes.
don't believe what people tell you or show you or think that you're going to be seeing on the news to try and get people to invest. But there's other places like China, and the Europeans have been investing into Africa. But I think it's high time for us to do that. And especially with this year or this past year being the 400th year, it was even more meaningful than that to go to Africa. So, and I got a chance to meet the Queen Mother of Toro, and just being in a palace with the Queen Mother and the King, who is the youngest king. He's been king since the age of 3 when his father passed on. So for 27 years, he's only 27 now.
Wow.
So he's the youngest king, and he's over like 7,000 plus acres. But just to even get a chance to meet him, it just reminded me of Black Panther really all over again. But the people were welcoming. They speak like 3 or 4 different languages. English, of course, is very much a language that they speak. And on top of that, their knowledge of the way, just how intelligent and just smart they are. But there's not a lot of jobs there. And so that's the other reason about going over to Africa, is to put together these initiatives to bridge that gap between us doing business together.
Okay. That sounds amazing. Now, how can one contact you if they want more information about the things you're doing?
Well, sure. Well, they can contact me via email. And my email is Jennifer@PercisPumpsAndPower.com. Again, that is Jennifer@PercisPumpsAndPower.com. That's the best way to contact me, via email. And I would love to, stay connected, with different, especially your audience, and let you know about when our next events are coming up. And in addition to that, about how we can all collaborate together to do business in Africa and in the States.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I have one last question for you, Jennifer. It's an important one. It is. What makes you convinced and confident?
Let's see. What makes me convinced and confident? I would probably, I ain't going to say probably. I know what makes me convinced is because I'm a spiritual person, and I do acknowledge God in my life. And so with that, knowing that I do have God on my side and the faith that it takes to carry, because all faith is, like one of my other mentors says, all faith is you putting that in action. So like they say, faith without works is dead. So when you put that faith in action, you can be convinced of your greatness. You can be convinced of everything that it takes to pretty much, maybe change your whole life around. And I'm also convinced that I know God is real. As far as in my life, I'm convinced that we as a people are one of the most intelligent, especially with women and Black women. I'm very convinced that I know without a shadow of a doubt that it is our time. But I'm also confident in knowing that God has put everything in me, like he's put everything in you and everything in those that are listening, into your audience, that you can truly reach every single goal and every single dream that you have. But it does take faith. It does take work. It does take execution. But just know that once you do that, you become confident. And the confidence also comes with just failing. I failed many times, but confidence in yourself and just getting, dusting yourself back up and getting back up will actually show you that you do have that confidence and that drive and that determination to reach to the next level of your greatness.
And Jennifer, you are convinced and confident, and I truly thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm so proud of everything that you're putting together, and you already declared your greatness by getting out the word and just stepping into with your greatness. And I love, love, love everything about you, sis, and your podcast. So I want to see everyone grow in with that, especially with these upcoming years. You know, you're going to be on the stages of the world, and I appreciate you for even just taking the time and the faith and the action as far as putting this all together.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. That's our show, and we thank you for listening. If you like our show, Convinced and Confident, please leave us a rating and download us on Apple Podcasts and Google Play.